in what once again seems to be almost like a perpetual loop we're stuck in cryptocurrency. Whenever we get any kind of just momentum, it seemingly seems, it always seems to happen without volume. And then we have to do what we do yesterday, the day before, the weeks before, even today. We have this optimistic viewpoint, but understandably so severely cautionary now. One, because if you're somebody who's paid attention to crypto over the years, you understand that it's an unregulated market. And by regulation, by enforcement, is going to cause price to not appreciate. When we talk about tokens being eradicated, there's got to be some kind of extreme that happens. That Clarity Act might just be that extreme, but what it means for the tokens that survive, they don't just go straight up. Oh, it's quite the opposite. They go through the shitstorm. Oh, I'm sorry. They go through the ringer, and then they come out the other side. When we say XRP rises through the ashes, there's been no rising yet. It hasn't gone through the ashes. We haven't ran into the old blacksmith through the seeping hot fire. We haven't been liquefied. When that happens, we'll be the first to know, believe me. And XRP will survive, and it's going to run triumphant. I can guarantee it. I can't guarantee much, but I can guarantee XRP is being integrated in such a deep way, in a fascinating way, that if I wasn't a show that only cared about the pricing because I want to be able to make as many people in this community, if they see this, if somebody else learns from this and pushes the message of truth and the proper understanding of visually being able to not push XRP into something it's not, because then you resonate a lot of hate. XRP gets a lot of unfair criticism. Let's face it, it's at $1.40 when most other cryptos are down better than 90% from the 21 highs. XRP's within 59 cents of it. Like, so it's a big deal. To me, it's a big deal. So if I wasn't a station that I primarily focus on the price with the charts, but we do talk about all the news that we can find. But if I was more of an adoption and integration person instead of focusing on this, which I would be if I didn't understand the charts to this extent, because I feel like we can make a bigger impact here if we understand how to buy this, where to buy it, when to buy it, so we don't end up exit liquidity. My title yesterday was so strong, and I had to come on and be like, listen, this title's strong, but it doesn't mean that it's 100% guarantee that this is going to happen. There are ways around this, and that's what we try to watch every day to see if we can get out in front of it. But it's like time after time, every single time we start to build something, we don't just have that, we just don't have the volume. And without volume, volume predicts price. And if we're in a bear market, which we've been, and I know it's hard to hear, but we've been in a bear market, and it told us the bear market was starting in January of 25. I know it's crazy. We got the validation in, what was it, April through July. Or by July, we knew it was a bear market because we double topped. And just now, it's just coming to the realization that, because what you often hear by the social media influencers, or just by general retail, it doesn't have to be an influencer, but retail, your friend, somebody you hear talking on the news, what ends up happening is we go into why are we going down if it's in a bull market? Well, if we just understand the difference between a bull and a bear, we understand in bear markets you have pushes up, but you have even bigger pushes down. In bull markets, it's phenomenal. If we were still in a bull market, what would have happened is in 2025 in January, when we hit the $3.65, on that next push up, XRP in July would have not only got back up there, we wouldn't have had the breakdown in volume that we've seen. And we would have overtook that area and held. We would have had the confirmation with volume, and we would have went off in the discovery into the $5, $6, $7 range probably, because that's where it was targeted out. If we could have got back up there, it still is. That target hasn't changed. It built it into the code now. The code says XRP will go in time, and it's a guarantee. If you believe in the trading algorithms, this is guaranteed to happen one day. We'll say with 99.4% certainty. But this will happen. When it happens, I believe it will go sub $1 before it happens. You know, I can't help my belief. And the charts kind of solidify it. But I'm here for a good time. Let's have this reverse so we don't have to deal with that nonsense. But it's built into where we should be able to 549, 638, not 638. We have too many tokens. $6.38. So imagine, or 539. Imagine we go down. Let's just say we go to 86. And you're able to buy at 95 cents, let's say, because nobody gets the bottom. I don't care anybody say you're not getting the bottom. You can get close. Maybe you get lucky, but you don't always get the bottom. Nobody does. Not even I. But let's say you get 95 cents and then it goes back up to $5. My God. And people will say, oh, XRP is such a... It's because they think it owes them something. They think XRP owes them something. Some people will look at the rationale. I'm down 60% since I bought XRP a year ago. Some people will say, well, I'm up 400% since I bought it in 23. Others will say, well, I bought it in 2017, 18, and I'm down 50% still. All arguments are valid, but every single one of them tell a real story. The one who's up 400% probably understands the cycles and probably was getting in and out of the cycles. The one from 2018's had multiple chances to get whole. Just never took it. So it's all about rationale. And also what it tells you is the guy from 2018 never bought any more when it was at 10 cents. Never bought any more at 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents. Just sat there. Sat there like a deer in the headlights, which honestly is the worst thing you can do. Perception is everything. This is what we've set up. We knew this from yesterday, but it's getting validated more and more. Now, could this be a descending wedge trying to form? It could. It could. Now, it depends which way you look at this. Like, if somebody's going to go like this and say, well, Tom, isn't that a descending triangle? You could say that, but then I would say you're just trying to fluff up the case. Although, it's kind of, I mean, it's not flat, but it's pretty interesting. I know it's $1.38. Ooh. Still, that's kind of flat, but it's not, it's still, you can still see it going down a little bit. It still seems like it wants to come up another layer if it doesn't fully break down. But that's the thing, if it doesn't break down, if we can get some volume. Like this is, I believe, where's the one from? Probably have to go into the bottom chart then. I mean, we're firmly back within that liquidity zone. This is what we had drawn out before. But even if you tighten it up, I mean, you can see that it's inside of something in it. Man. I just don't like the fact we're inside of this zone. That's about a 5.87% drop it could eventually do. And that's within the liquidity box. Like, in my opinion, if you stay in there, I mean, you can still break out. But the farther you go here, the more you start to build a head and shoulders or a topping. So either XRP is going to find some volume here midweek, because it's not going to get a better opportunity. You know, by the time it gets down to this support, that's why yesterday I said don't bounce in here until you get validation, because to me it looked like even if it was going to break out, wouldn't we have to validate this a third time because we had support. Pattern can't be confirmed until 3 hits on each side in this kind of a pattern. Aside from like a broadening wedge, really a broadening wedge in that way is the only one you can really get away with it for whatever reason. You need 2 hits on each side because it's the way a broadening wedge works, because you have the inside and then the outside, and by the time it's done that resistance, support, it's already giving you enough data because it's got to expand so quickly that you're starting to see it being built. And then if it breaks down from there, well, it breaks down. Or if it holds and goes up, you're probably going to break out. In our case with XRP, when we did it the last time, we never got the steam to come back up that third time. And then we busted through, unfortunately. And we just haven't been able to push back. The overwhelming factors, we have to be above $1.56. Otherwise, we're below that descending triangle, which is, it's a disaster. Descending triangles are bearish continuation patterns. So whether you were going in bullish and then all of a sudden it formed a descending triangle, you're forming a bearish consolidation for a continuation down now, or a reversal at least. Descending triangle forms on the top, it's a bearish reversal. Descending triangle forms after a drop, it's a bearish consolidation, which means the likelihood is you're continuing down if you can't overtake that. And the fact we came up there, we haven't overtaken it yet. If we could, the next move would be around $1.68 to $1.77. Oh, you guys have no idea about the spammers. It's a joke. In my comments, I even turned it on. This is what pisses me off. For a couple days, I did a test, and I turned it on to only subscribers that had been around for over a year. It didn't matter. It was still the same spam. Like it's a joke on YouTube. I firmly believe YouTube. It's a conspiracy on YouTube. The more you start to talk, and the more the more valuable it is, they block it out with spam. I could never understand it on Peter's shift. Sometimes when it was irrelevant and it didn't matter in the moment, you go through his comments and it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't see a lot of spam. And I always thought like maybe he just auto deleted the spammers. But the moment the gold started to be the topic and silver, and when it became important in 22 and 3, all of a sudden his comments on those videos would have thousands of spam. And I'm like, I started to realize going through different videos that the more important the in the comments, like I can't even go through my comments and delete them fast enough. I wish I could show. I mean, I've made a video before. I just didn't want to post it. But you delete it and 10 other comments come. I mean, literally, you block the account and 10 other comments come. It's I don't know. That's the one thing YouTube kills me with. Even Facebook isn't that bad. Like I barely get any spam on Facebook. It's easy. All I have to do is auto block the statement, and then nobody else can do it. On YouTube, you'll put it in, and then they just let them do it anyhow. But anyhow, good morning. 10:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. No, JBHK. That's why I don't talk about a lot of my health stuff, because I'm afraid that they will do the same thing to my station. It's no buenos. It's the fugazi. Everything you see is normally what they want you to see. So right now we're kind of doing this, well, not so much under the radar, the more people we get. But when I wasn't as big of a station, we could do this kind of under the radar kind of thing. Now getting close to 50,000, but as you can see, I can never quite get to 50,000. Have you noticed? It just bounces around. Just bounces around. But I'm always close. I'm closer now than I've been before. But we stuck around 48,000 for a couple months, then 49,100, then 49,500. It's like, we'll never. So anyhow. But when it comes to the charting, you know, the more, it's not that I want more people to watch, it's that I want more people that understand and that can help communicate it in a different way. Because the more people if we have enough people watching the XRP chart or the other utility charts, you realize there's no way to lose. Like there's literally no way to lose if you're watching it properly. So if you're paying attention this morning, the number one thing I want you to pay attention to is exactly what I said in the title. Today, it's exactly what I want it to mean. It usually is. You just got to pay attention. XRP must overtake $1.56 and hold, or face a massive drop to 86 cents. That's the reality of the situation right now. So what we're trying to push through the point this morning, or what I'm trying to push through, is if we want to have a bullish overtake, we got to get back on top of this descending triangle. Like there is no other way around it. Until we get on top of that, we're very bearish. I mean, very bearish. And the problem with that drop to 86 cents is that might be the first of two-step drop. That could be the first of a double drop. You know, if we're coming down to 53 on the overextension to retest that uptrend now, that's a problem. Or if we're going to come all the way back down here, for anybody who hasn't watched my channel before, you know, we could come down here and then back test this entire movement finally. And this leaves us right around, that's the 80, wait a minute, what's this one? The 75, 77. And that would be where I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it holding at like at that spot. If it doesn't want to come to 53. That's why if we don't overtake this area, it's I mean, come on. We're all friends here. We are all freaking friends here, right? You're my friend. I love you. You love me. Maybe you hate me in a love-hate relationship, but you're still here. Let's be honest here. Top, double top. Why are we lying to ourselves? Why are we still lying? We're not at 360. We're not at $3. We're not at 285. We're not at 230. We're not at a 220. We're not at $1.80. Hell, we're not even at $1.57. Let's be honest with ourselves. This looks like shit. Oh, I'm sorry. This pattern is obsolete. It's been vanquished. This pattern is restarting. This pattern has completely flipped upside down. So now if we just acknowledge it for once, like, come on, guys. Even if you screwed this up, or if you did this right, can we just acknowledge where we're going until it tells us otherwise? This is another case in point. The technicals matter. The technicals matter. The technicals matter. And if we pay attention to the technicals and you don't get hurt, I don't hurt your feelings. I'm hurting my own feelings right now because I want XRP to succeed. But every time I see this in the cycles, I'm like, okay, opportunity. Opportunity up the yin and yang. To the yin and yang. To the point to where now I put $5,000 to the side in my own personal life. To where, let's just say it does something extraordinary to a drop. I've already got $30,000 to spend on crypto. I've now allotted another $5,000 just in case something bites me in the ass on the drop that I'm not planning. Because right now, as it stands, if it just does what we want, because I'm not looking to do anything in this market until it shakes itself out. Right now, I'm not looking to buy and sell. I'm not looking to be a trader. I'm looking at the best possible position to invest. And right now, the best possible position in the short term was down here. And now we need to see if this can overall play. Everybody who says it filled out this exit liquidity from the 10th, it's not technically true because not all exchanges filled. Had we have come down below $1 and then 77 cents roughly, then we could say that. But we're going to have to come all the way down to here for every single one of those October 10th wicks. Shh, I didn't say that on all the exchanges to fill, like Binance. I mean, it is what it is. If we're talking about that liquidity fill, you know, everybody's like, oh, we filled the October 10th wick. Well, I mean, technically that's true on some exchanges, but I could have said that on some of them at $1.57 we filled it. Why wait until $1.18? You know? Even on this one, we haven't filled it at 97 cents or whatever the hell it is. So, I mean, this one's what, $1. So, that's the fact. So it's like, where are you targeting? Not here. If I was a bet man, I'm not targeting right here. If I was a bet man, I'd say they're setting us up for a big drop. And I say that because there's no volume. Everybody can argue the volume. Look at the daily. To me, when I look at that, I go, oh, God. They're building their own fall up. Not a single iota shred of volume came in to turn this around. And on the big reversal candle, so we had a big drop on this chart, 12.83 million. And if you look, leading into the drop, yeah, it built up. That volume was building up. But when we were steady, 950,000. The big push up for XRP are at 3.55 million on the biggest candle. That was the biggest candle. You start here on the big drop, and all of a sudden you see, okay, we start with 2.25, 3.8. That's already bigger than the biggest green candle going up. Now what happens? Holy shit. Up to 636. Now we have a hold candle. Technically, if you want a reversal, you want to see a green spike. If it's still bearish, you want to see a falling volume on that candle because that was the reversal attempt. And then we get the falling volume. Now in the next candle, you want to be increased selling, increased selling, increased selling, crescendo. Now you have the reversal. Now you want to see some strong green candle to show you that we're starting to reverse. Again, the volume is crashing on the reverse attempts. And look how high it got here. It literally went from when it started to build back up. It started at the reversal when it failed 2.98. Then it started dropping 4.79, kept dropping 5.88, kept dropping 6.93, dropped to the big drop 12.83. Verifying strong volume for selling. Reverses 8.41, which is standard. This is mandatory. You have to sell and buy at the same time. Now the first real buy volume is 5.26. That's not even half of the sell candle right here. Hell, that doesn't even equal most of the buy or sell candles coming up. And then the next one, you're like, well, surely we're going to get a bigger candle here. Half, not even half. You go, oh, shit. Okay, well, let's throw some sell volume and let's see how much value. Oh, wait a minute. It's maintaining even on this little sell candles just as big as these. So now it's like we're in a hold point. If any sell volume comes in here at any extreme, it's going to use all this liquidity after the back test up here. And the problem is it back tested the descending triangle absolutely on the nuts. I mean, it missed it by what, a half a cent? Close enough. So if this wanted to break down, I mean, it could break hearts. We could break hearts. But, you know, for now, we're still within what looks like a descending wedge possibly. So, I mean, you could look at that in the short term and try to draw some hope. But I wouldn't draw too much hope till you retake $1.56 kind of thing. Like, I want to get into the real nuts and bolts of this. I don't want to get caught up in hey, there's a liquidity trap. I think yesterday I put down XRP holders don't buy, or XRP don't buy. I don't remember what I said. Let me see. I said something. It was an extreme statement, but it was the truth. I don't generally I don't sugarcoat anything. That's why more people don't follow. But they should. You want to hear what you don't want to know, and you want to know what you don't want to hear. So I said XRP buyers stopped. The symmetrical triangle broke down. And that's the short pattern that led to all this mess. And broke down and tricking you into being exit liquidity. That can mean whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be down to 50 cents, but look in the moment. It was at $1.46, $1.47. But we're saying the symmetrical triangle broke down. It hit at almost $1.46, what, 3 separate times during the live yesterday. And now look, you're down 6-7 cents already. On XRP, that's better than 5.5-6%. You don't want to be that liquidity. And I'm telling you, even if this breaks up from here, if you bought yesterday and you're down 6%, you're going to become exit liquidity. I don't know how many people would put $10,000 into something, and then the next day, you know, you didn't make it through a day, and your debt 10,000's down to 9,400 or 9,300. I don't think they're holding. I really don't. Why would you? I wouldn't, especially in this volatility. And Valentine's Day, right? I mean, it'll be the perfect setup in a couple days for it to just. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to scare every single person that comes in out of here, but it's just I want you to understand what's going on. Like, we don't have volume. Volume predicts price, and Bitcoin right now is breaking down even out of this short-term little trend that we looked at yesterday. Like, it's breaking down. And that's just being generous to Bitcoin. I put that liquidity box too so you would know. I mean, I built this out for you and myself. So we would know going forward. Like, we would know. And it's a 10% gap from the top to the bottom. You can lower this. We failed up here, so now it becomes like this. Now it's proving that we might not even have the strength to come all the way up here. And if we don't have the strength to come up here, this is very bearish. So we better make sure that this is about the reverse. We need this to reverse if we want any kind of... And look, you don't even need to do it like this. That's what I always try to tell everybody. Forget that. It's giving you a more of a immediate understanding of the pattern. Everybody always tries to draw it out too far. And then they never update it based on what it shows. I like to update it in real time. I always have. I always will. But in here, I kind of think it's giving us this. Yeah, see that? Now we're getting some kind of understanding here with Bitcoin. Oh, yeah, we are. That pull down right there was important because now it could be building something. Now if it comes below that, see, this is building something. We got a little range here that's tightening up. Ooh. All I can say is it better hold this. 2 hourly is massively oversold. And the stochastic 3 hour, same thing. Where's the 4 hour today? 4 hours getting into pretty oversold now as well. Daily, kind of hooking a little bit. It's not necessarily a good thing. We'll see how this daily candle finishes. The weekly, still no momentum at all. It's not even rounding at all. This is a very important weekly candle, though. That 200 days at 68,167. Now, I know I've heard all the talk about how Bitcoin's at the lowest it's ever been with certain metrics. It should be. With the way that the buying and selling's going on, I mean, if it wasn't for all of these overzealous buyers, Bitcoin would be in the toilet. That's why all these companies like MicroStrategy and Sailor and, you know, all these companies that are, I seen a fund. I almost jumped. I almost lost my nuts. There was a fund. It's like the teachers fund of, is it in Florida or I don't know. It's a teachers fund. They decided to take their money out of their whatever their safe returns were, and nothing's safe, but it's safer. And they put it in Bitcoin. They put the teachers fund in Bitcoin, their retirement fund. I'm not even joking. And it was at like 76,000 when they did that. I mean, if this teacher union's not shitting bricks right now, I don't know who is. But think about that. What a scam. Let's put the teachers union retirement into Bitcoin. Why didn't they say let's put it into silver when it was at $19? Like, what is going on? What in the world? Would you want your retirement fund in Bitcoin if you were a teacher? And that's the kind of stuff that started popping up. They're draining liquidity from everywhere. Imagine. All they have to do is sink Bitcoin to like 40K. Imagine. What does 50-50 mean? I'm 50 out of 50. Oh, are you talking? That's the top fans. That's the top fans. There's 127 people that are in here right now, but out of everybody who's come in during the live, you're number 50 is what it means. With your commitment, or not commitment, but your what you've given to the show so far. So like if you comment, if you share, if you like, if you send a super chat, if you join Tom's Army during the show or things like that, or if you donate a sub, you move up on the list. We haven't got like it's been an interesting month so far. Jay from Mix, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens, and also the $5 super chat. I'm already doing, I think, better than yesterday. Look at that. Thank you so much. I will not work for free today. I could see a 2-week relief rally from Valentine's Day into March 3rd, lunar eclipse, but I know nothing. I mean, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. That's why we need to overtake. It's simple. If we want a good scenario to play out for us and this to reverse, we need it to overtake $1.56. It's not a question of if. It's a question of when if we want this to break. Like, that's the cool thing about the technicals right now. It's not, there's no two ways about it. We have got to get back above $1.56. Otherwise, we're just going to break down. With the way it's set up right now, I'm not convinced it's going to break down right away until it does. Because the way it's setting up tells me it could come to $1.38 even and hold. And then it could surprise some people. So we'll see what happens. Even if it falls in that direction, I'm not sweating until, or $1.36. I wouldn't be sweating if I was anybody until we at least lost that $1.36 and the overall lost $1.34. Once you lose that, start sweating your balls off. Especially if you're in leverage or if you bought, too shortly ago. I'm sorry. Sweating your grotesques off. Mrs. Stott, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Lucier, good morning. Millennial, welcome in. Ledger Tech, good morning. It's all an illusion. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, along with Juan Brito, Carl, the Cannabis Podcast, Jerry Clark, welcome in. All in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. I think, was that everybody? Crypto Cooter as well, 1970 legend, our fellow Buckeye down south. Well, it's south of Michigan. Definitely not south. He's in Ohio. But welcome in. Very trusted mods, Crypto Cooter as well. Appreciate both of you so very much. The Fines in here, 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Very trusted mod in this community. Telling everybody hit the like button. On the way in, consider subscribing and joining Tom's Army for the best technical analysis on YouTube. Every day you're not in the Telegram, you're missing out. Why wait? I agree, and we've apparently we need that message defined. I think the overall members of Tom's Army are down about, what have we lost? 3 or 4% this month, which is not uncommon when it's very red. But it is what it is. Logical Patriot, welcome in. Who else is here? XRP John Hall, good morning, my brother. Mark Smith, thanks for being in Towns 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Oliver Marks, Jordan Junkie, good morning with Ben Graham as well. Mr. Stott and Tom's Army with 6 months as well with the XP Predictor. Good morning, Mr. Stott. Chawa Chunk, TP, Salil, Amadish, MD, Masood, One Tap. Wait, what is all this shit? Oh, we've got spammers in here now too? You know, they're really trying to fuck with me, aren't they? I was going to say those names don't sound right. But yeah, it's becoming a nightmare on just to put it mildly. YouTube spam is becoming unbearable, in my opinion. Unbearable. And the problem is I can't do anything about it. No matter what I try, it just gets... The more important the information gets, the worse it gets is the problem. And I wish there was a way around it. Wish. But I would say contact YouTube, but good luck with that because they really don't care. Let's see. Good morning, Scott Lowry. Thanks for being in Towns Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor, along with Mark Smith and Sola Jeffy. Bearded Viking, welcome in. We continue to pray for Mighty Marcus and your continued grace as Mighty Marcus continues to fight the good fight. And I'm glad to see you in here, Bearded Viking. Talk about you every single day in the same way. We pray to Yahweh, Yeshua, Emmanuel, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. We ask for God's grace. Amen. Let's see. $1.42.5 down to that $1.48. This is the moment. We're crunching right now. Like, this is the moment. It's going to decide a lot. Like, if this pattern starts breaking down, or if we can get out a bunch, you know, past $1.44, $1.45. If you guys want to know a personal strategy I like with crypto, because there's no wash sales and you don't have to wait 30 days to buy back like in the stock market if you perform a loss for it not to continue to count as just a regular hold. Every single time crypto goes down, if I'm holding and I'm down money, I'm always selling out and rebuying back in on the next drop. Always. Or I'm trying to sell out right before that next drop because I want to put that on the book. So if I'm losing, I'm down $7,000. I don't want to hold through the $7,000 loss. I need to sell that fucker. I'm sorry. I need to sell this so that it shows up as a 7,000 net loss. And then if I sell out and I make 20 grand, well, then I only actually make 13 on the books. Like everybody needs to understand that strategy. You could be down 25 grand and sit through it, but sell the son of a bitch and rebuy it back so that you're down 25 grand on the books and then let it come back. Then when you make that 100 grand, at least you got a 25% write-off built in. Some people get mad when I say that. Well, how do I know when to buy back in? You don't. Have a strategy. Sell it and rebuy it back. But I always say to wait until the drop finishes happening if you have it set up or if you can see it. Because nobody wants to sell it out and buy back a few hundred tokens less. That's the other side of it. Oh, I understand it's psychological, Ledger. 100%. Oh, it's a very psychological game. It is. And you know what's the craziest part about this psychological twist we play with crypto? Is it's so easy to buy. Like today, isn't it? If you were going to buy it, it's a lot easier to buy at $1.40 than it was at $1.13, right? Even though the price doesn't suggest it. Just from a psychological standpoint. It's so crazy when you think about it, but look how many people would buy it today and passed up at $1.13 or $1.18. So then the people who bought it at $1.13, they don't care what's happening right now. So it goes to $1.34 and they make it or break it. They're waiting for that moment. Even if they just bought in, if they bought in at $1.25, they don't care. They've got overhead. It only becomes difficult when you're the guy who bought in at $1.54 now on this run up, and now you're already down, 10%. It makes it a lot more difficult to sit in this. So that's why I think the importance of it's not about the time in market. I've always believed it's the timing the market, because timing the market properly gives you that desired time in market. I should patent that on a shirt somewhere. We want the desired time in market, but if we can help it, we want to make the best possible buy. So when we spend $500 and just buy in everywhere, okay, well, if I bought $500 worth at $3, you're only getting so many tokens. What is that? I mean, I don't even know how many. That's not even, what is that, 400 tokens maybe? No. 300 tokens? No, that can't be 300. 500 would be 2,500 or 250. For 1,000 at 250. Yeah. So, I mean, you're getting less than 1,000 tokens. But then at the same breath, if you were to buy it at $2, for $500, or let's just say $1,000. At $2, you're getting 500 tokens. At $3, you're getting like 333. At $1, you're getting 1,000. So I want to make that money go as far as I can. I don't want to be buying 500 at $3 so I get 333 tokens when 2 months later I can buy it and get 750 for the same amount. Or 6 months after that I can get 1,500 for the same amount that I was getting 330. That's not what you do. And then if you bought cheap, you never ever, I don't care what anybody says. If you bought XRP at 35 cents and it's at 350, I don't care if you have a weekly buy. You shut that sumbitch off. Once it gets over $1 or $2, actually $2, you shut it off. Oh, you shut it off when it gets above $1. You never want to buy when it gets so much over. You never do that. Because then what happens is you bring your average up. So now you're cutting into your own profits. Unintentionally, of course, because after all, you're just adding more XRP. But now you got all these XRP at 30, 40, 50, 70, 90, 320, 350, 380, 360. And then it goes back down to $1.40. And now you're sitting there going, oh, son of a bitch. I wish I wouldn't have bought all those up there. I wish I would have been buying it at $1.30, $1.20, $1.15 when I was getting into the real areas. And we got 2 chances so far. And those might not even be the realest areas. But it's a good strategy to try to build within. Again, these are my least popular topics when I talk about it, but they're the most important, ironically. It's the ones you can understand and decode, that kind of a workaround. That'll actually make it really fun, a risk asset. Risk assets, you got to be really on the ball. When they say risk asset, it doesn't mean invest for 25 years straight. Unless you bought from the bottom. Everybody, if you bought from the bottom, it's different. As long as you bought from a bear market and you're willing to acknowledge the bull market and then you had a strategy, I mean, there's different ways to look at it. If you're rich, you don't necessarily need to sell every cycle. It's just that's the way it works. If you don't have any money and you're struggling, you got credit card debt, you're behind on your house payment, but you don't want to sell, that's idiotic when you're up. There's different fundamentals. You got to, just because you're in one category or the other doesn't mean you're good or bad. I mean, you got to play to your circumstance. Crypto is not a zero-sum game, so you got to take it when it's there sometimes. It's just the way it goes. That's why institutions buy and sell so often. We all want to act like they don't, but they do. They're just smart about it. Some years they have to write off massive gains, so they sell their losses. Some years they have to write off massive losses, so they sell their gains. There's not really there's not a crystal. We don't need a crystal ball. We just need to understand philosophy. And if you don't understand the philosophy of trading, I encourage you to join the classes. Video description below and our pinned comment, you can see a link. Click on it, upgrade on YouTube, join. Yesterday we had our 3rd class and it was phenomenal. So I believe in this community, we're playing chess with them. They may be playing chess and everybody else may be playing checkers in retail. We're not just playing chess, we're the queen. The rest of retail is the pawn. The market makers are the king. Well, the king only goes as far as the queen, baby. Some would say the queen leads by design, makes the king feel special, like in old times. Everybody thought the king or the dude was making the rules, but you'd be surprised when you go into old history. It was not the man. The man was the front. The woman was the most sadistic, the most evil, the most beautiful, and most just from a planning standpoint, from manipulation, it was a thing of beauty back in the day. They didn't want you to know about them. The women didn't want you to know that they were the front runner to every grand thing that was happening. They hid behind the shadows like yours. Every great player is supposed to sit in the shadows, not out in the limelight. When you're out in the light, everybody knows who you are. You can't play the game. That's what the women forgot in this century. The media tricked you. You were doing it perfectly, getting all the glory, but none of the credit like you want. I don't want no credit. I want all the glory. Give me the glory. Don't give me the credit, though. You know, I don't want you to know it was me, but I still want to take the glory. Nobody needs to know it was me if I'm getting the benefit. You still like to be appreciated, but the whole world doesn't need to know it was you. If secretly you're running the show and you can go out in public and everybody thinks you're the greatest person since sliced bread and you're the very person that's making the rules, I mean, there's no better gig than that, right? If you don't buy crypto with money you need, see, that's the other overall saying. I don't like that saying, to be honest, Elmer. I'm not in investing to lose. Once we start telling ourselves that, that's just, we're trying to give ourselves a psychological edge to where we don't mind losing money. I didn't need it. You working a 9 to 5? If you didn't need it, you didn't need to go to work 9 to 5 for the last, 25 years. I think we all need it. We just tell ourselves we don't. We're not rich. I mean, unless your house is paid off, it's fully functional. You got several years savings to where you can live off the grid and things like that if something goes down. Because we all need the money. I believe in the crypto, just don't need it right now. That's fair. That's fair. That is fair. I just don't want people to get into the mindset of we can spend it anywhere because we don't need it, so it doesn't matter how we spend it. I want us to make the most for our dollar is the point. But I agree with you. If you don't need the money, it's a lot easier to hold it over time, especially when you're making gains and trying to ride through a bull market or sit through a bear market, because sometimes you got to sit. That's a very true statement, though. That's a very true statement. It really is. I just want this community to be on the side of, you know what? I don't need this money, but I'm also not going to give it back to the exchange and let them sit on it for 2 years until we make the move, kind of thing. I'd rather you put it in a stable coin if you're building up capital because you don't need the money, and then when you get a 20% drop, you strike. But it absolutely depends on circumstance. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Because if I'm facing my foreclosure and facing going on the street, I'm going to get rid of everything I own. Tom Class are building future generals. This channel will be bulletproof. Oh, it's going to be phenomenal, Carl. I'm glad you look at it that way. Depends which exchange you use. Learn Fireblocks Cannabis Podcast. That can save you a lot of heartache. But yeah, but listen, the whole point of saying put it in a stable coin is if you're putting on an exchange. I'm not telling you to put it into some shit stable coin. USDC. The one that's going to have the most backing on an exchange if it has Fireblocks or if it has any kind of FDIC, which doesn't even extend to crypto, so you have to have Fireblocks. If you can't use an exchange ledger, there's no reason to trade. Bottom line. That's like telling me to go to the stock market, but I can't use a broker. You just asked if it was. If the bank or exchange goes bust, your money is bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, And a bank, you have FDIC insurance, so that's why you shouldn't keep over 250,000. Well, it depends what your bank is. But yeah, it's like that and everything. It's like that and everything. If I buy a house and it gets knocked over and I don't have insurance, it goes goodbye bye. If I drive a car and it blows up and I have no insurance, well, even if I have insurance, it might be hit or miss. If I bring my, if I have a wallet and I forget my keys, I have no recourse. I mean, there's always the what if. If I can't trust an exchange, if there's no exchange for me to buy crypto, I'm in the wrong game. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If I can't go to a tier one exchange that has the backing of Fireblocks and things like that, and it's going to be around, there's no reason. I won't trade crypto anymore. To say putting it in a wallet or hardware is better, I'll never believe it. I think that's a cheap ploy that they tell you. Notice every single one of the influencers are paid to push all of these wallets. That's why everybody knows about them. There's not one person in my audience that just knew that organically. I can guarantee it. You wouldn't know that. Unless some Tom, Dick, and Harry's pushing it all over the web, you wouldn't even know about it. You would be like, oh, I'm trading crypto. I'm going to go to a crypto exchange. Not go to a third-party wallet that may or may not be encoded and may or may not have backway hacks into getting my stuff. I just don't believe it. And most people that complain about the exchanges, they're using wallets without any kind of verification. So if you think an unverified wallet is safer than a verified exchange, that's where our biggest problem is. We have a big problem in crypto. Huge problem. If you wonder why it can't take off, that's a big reason why now. Also, the Clarity Act. I mean, the same. We have these two basic arguments that tell you everything you need to know about why crypto can't go anywhere. One, nobody trusts the exchanges, and they tell you to use a third-party wallet, unverified, with no attachment to you, over a verified exchange. That's a big problem. That'd be like me telling you not to go to the bank and go to some Samoa guy's house down the street, and he's got a nice savings account, and he's got a vault in his house. And that's safer than going to the actual bank. Or me going down to Detroit and going to a crack house and saying, hi, I hear that I can store my money here instead of going to the bank. I mean, if that's how we have to do it, it's not going to work. There's been so many different ways with crypto, it doesn't make any sense. Like, hey, I can't use what we're here to buy it from. Like, if they told me in the stock market that, hey, I know you're going to buy your mining stocks, but you can't keep it on the JP Morgan app. You can't, in the JP Morgan trading account. You're going to have to take it off of there and put it into this mining stocks cold storage. I'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm not buying any of this crap. Why would I buy that? You're telling me that what I buy, it's not safe on your trading? I'm not putting any money on there then. And then they tell you have to send it to a place where you have 20 different identifiable keys, and if you mess it up, your crypto's gone forever. I mean, think about that. It doesn't even make sense. Oh, it's for your safety. Is it really? Because it feels like I'm going to forget all of this, and when I need this, when I have a new... And nobody realizes it because they always forget. We always have the best intentions, but think about it. When you get a new phone, when it's not auto-saved, are you going to be able to get back in it? Because I can tell you for a fact, what I had to start doing is I would have to send over my stuff. When I got a new phone, I'd create another wallet, send it over there. Because a lot of times when I would go to validate it, I would be putting in every single code. I'd have a screenshot of it even. And it would not work. It would load up the account without the assets. And then they would say, oh, there's a bug, or there's this, or there's that. So I just started to send it to a new wallet. And then I'm like, why the hell am I even doing this? This is so dumb. Why is it Tom, Dick, and Harry and not Harry, Dick, Tom? I think that's self-explanatory. I love it, Mr. Stott. But we're just having a conversation here, you know? We're just having a conversation. Devin, welcome in, and thanks for being in town over 3+ years with the XRP Diamond Hands Bands. Collateral and Insurance. Sarson Fund launched Casper USDC, selecting Circles USD. Coin USDC as the exclusive collateral for the asset. That's actually a good thing. Yeah, Caleb and Brown, they seem to be, as far as I can tell, if there was one that I would put on here and be like, hey, you know, this is a tier 1 style exchange, and they've got at least you might have to pay a little bit in fees, especially if you want their brokerage help, which they kind of build into the framework. Um, but they actually have a advancement with the XRP ledger. Um, yeah, they help expand the ecosystem. So I mean, if there was one, I mean, so I don't mind that one actually. From everything I've seen, I know a lot of people who use it. Well, I don't need to. No, there's not a. To be honest with you, there's not a whole lot in the collection right now until this figures itself out. If I'm being honest, I've been upfront about it, but I'm not talking so much about my portfolios anymore. Like over the past couple of weeks, there were some very people that I helped out a lot that decided to take shots and cheap shots at that. Because as you start to grow a little bit and advance your positions over the years because of your understanding, people get jealous. So that was unwarranted. So I'm not as open as I used to be. 2026, I'll be more closed off position wise. You'll know when I'm doing something, but I'm not going to say I traded today, traded tomorrow. You're going to hear that I think this is the right spot. I'm going to say I attacked or something, but I'm not going to say I own this, that, and everything in between. You can look at my hat when I wear it to know that. I just got to be more blunt this year because I don't like to get kicked in the heart, you know? So that's a side that goes goodbye by in 2026 until it's warranted to open back up. I'm not anybody's bitch or punching bag for that matter. So we bounce off this support and this resistance over the top for Bitcoin. That 71,000 is going to be important. Got a little bit of volume in the 1 hourly. Remember what we talked, or the 2 hourly? We talked about this. When you get reversals, you want to see a little bit of proof that we could be reversing. Now, when you break it into the hourly, it's a little bit more, we don't exactly know what's going on because it's kind of tapered in between buy and sell volume. As you can see, it's kind of a battle here. It did not overtake it in the 45, but it didn't give it away. So, looks like we're still on the upward trajectory. This didn't break down, not yet. And if we break out, we still know the upper trajectory. We still haven't come up here. This is the other thing we like. We haven't come up to 73. That's where we dropped, went back around, came down, bounced out, came down. We haven't come back up here and retest. Well, I guess you could say down here, back up, back down, up, down, up. I guess that's where we could differ. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do here to go into the middle to end the week. The longer this stretches out, the more volatile it gets by end of week. Let's see. How am I feeling about miners? You in or out? Indifferent. I'm indifferent right now. Right now, I'm currently out, and things are down pretty decently from where I sold. Some things are getting closer, but most things are significantly down. Like you're talking, some things are better than 20%, or 20% down. Some at almost 30 already, which is pretty crazy to see. That well, Hecla picked up a little bit now, so it's not quite 30. It's probably back down to about 20. But no, I'm indifferent. I'm not doing nothing right now. I know I have all my precious metals. I don't sell those, but miners indifferent. I still think we could be putting in a head and shoulders here. So indifferent until proven otherwise. I got no reason to make any kind of attempt to do anything right now, if I'm being honest. The only one that's getting close is B2 Gold because it built this cup and handle. But even that, it's going to have to build the handle, and then it's going to have to consolidate probably and see if we can hold it. But eventually, some of these should overtake. But I'm indifferent right now. Like, I'm not looking to enter a position at this point if I wasn't in something, you know? So I'm not looking to do anything right now. I'm in observation mode, which is my favorite spot. I love observation mode because then when you get the chance to strike, you're already ready. And you're not like right now, I'm not looking to attack unless it forces me. No, I don't look at the 1 minute for volume. If I'm being honest. The 1 minute in volume, I mean, it's such a small metric. Such a small metric, because then you get stuff like this and you're like, oh, look at the surge. But yeah, the volume's real low right now. There's no doubt about it. Right now, it's not looking great. We need some kind of volume, because even if you look at these, when you look at the stochastic, the one thing you can learn in the smaller time frames, however, is that how fast are we buying this back up? Like, how fast is stochastic filling up? Like, is stochastic, are we going from oversold to overbought in a blink of a heart? Are we going from overbought to oversold too quickly? Like, right now, we're kind of just trading punches. The problem is, as we trade punches across the board, we always end up a little bit lower. You know, it's seemingly we always end up a little bit lower. Now, this is the first time on this drop. Aside from here, when we try to make some kind of weird V, this is a farther up with the more, but it could be a bigger interpretation of just this. So that's why I want to see what this does right here. I can't tell you until I see if this can get outside of this to the top. And like we said yesterday, we're not asking for a lot. Yesterday was at like $1.44, and all we were asking it to do was get above $1.40, or it was at $1.45-ish, and we were asking it to get above $1.47, I believe we were saying. We weren't asking for a lot. We're just looking for a little bit of confirmation to get out of this little zone. So, but, you know, our time's coming short this morning. I know I talked everybody down to the ground, so there's no reason for me to be on for 2 hours this morning. This isn't the right live to be on for that long, to be honest. Message put across. However you interpret it is your decision. I'm not trying to be a hard ass, nor am I trying to be a softy. I'm just trying to be honest about what we're looking at. XDC, same situation. It's bounced down, and now it's basically come to the point. If we want to have an ABC style thing, we can stretch this all the way out. Like, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't need to stop right here. It can come all the way out here to do what it needs to do. The point is, though, it needs to use this as the support. It can't come and invalidate this. Now, could it be said that maybe it's going to come down here and do a bigger retracement? I could see that. Maybe it is going to build a bigger consolidation, because then you could be like, oh, well, this is a more conformed shoulder head, rounding shoulder. You had a consolidation after this, consolidation to the down. So it'd be kind of similar. So, you know, I'm not going to count anything out. But I do know the more of you go down from here, the more of a chance is you're going to break down and you're not going to be able to hold. But if you break down from here, now you're talking another 5 to 10% just to try to figure this out again. So let's see what happens. I think let's just see what happens. My kids brought their clothes hangers to the laundry without being told this morning. We rally. Oh, I love it. To the rally. But Ledger, I do like looking at the 1 minute, like you said, because there's one reason, like you said, that I like it, because it can tell you in the moment. So it's not that I don't like to put a whole lot of stock into it, but I like to look for a very quick heads up, like, wait a minute. We were stuck at low volume, and now all of a sudden $1 million came in, or 500,000 came in that candle, or we had, you know. Oh, the miners should see a big move. They absolutely, well, they have to see about a 20 to 30% move, some of them, just to get back to even now. But once they do that, they'll overtake it. They'll absolutely overtake it. And it's all in a losing. Thanks for being in Town Center for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad, and tell your kids, good job. Richard, thanks for being in Town Center 6+ months with the XP Predictor. I love it. And JBH, thanks for being a very trusted mod from so long ago in this community. Zuid Limburg. Wow. Look at that. All over the galaxy, or all over the globe. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take care of some stuff I gotta take care of. Try to get ready for when my son gets home from school after school, and then just do what I gotta do. Hopefully, we will meet again today. I know Scarlett won't be here today because she was a little sick this morning, so she's gonna stay at her dad's today, so we won't have her here tonight. So we'll just hope she does better, and we'll see her by Thursday, and she'll be able to go back to school soon. So other than that, it's been a great day. I appreciate all of you, and just proceed with caution, but still have your optimism for what we love in this space. You know, they haven't killed us yet. They haven't passed the Clarity Act yet. So, and yeah, with low volume Ledger, it definitely flips so easily. Like, it does. And I think XDC was a good example. This morning it was up 2.5% roughly. And then all of a sudden, just because there's no volume, it so easily did that wick down. It was just so, it's been doing it extremely quickly. That's the problem with low volume. When you have low volume, it just, You better hope that they're turning off the sells and just letting the buys come in, because if they go the other way, it goes quick. So it's always easier to find sell volume than buy volume in these circumstances, and that'll always be true in a bear market. But I do believe in the end we're gonna make some great gains. I just hope that it's not from 75% down, or you're getting everything 10 cents on the dollar because of the Clarity Act, and then we get a 10x, because 99% of my audience even is going to be liquefied, and then I'm going to be talking to a few involved, and then others that are just trying to rebuild and pick themselves up off the ground. I hope we can stay off that point to where we're like squashed like a bug. But when we get to the points we need to go, we're going to have enough capital to where we can make a real big difference. So we don't fall from the middle or lower class into the even lower sections. And we can be part of the great divide where we go from lower middle class, into the upper realms, because we understood what was happening as we go from this paper-backed money currency system to a digital system that's been implemented about 15 years ago, right before our very eyes, that we don't acknowledge yet. Because when we went from cash money, cash currency, I should say, with the dollar, to getting a debit card, that was the very first infiltration they did to put a digital dollar in place without calling it a digital dollar. We, in fact, have been digital dollarized, for many, many decades, almost 2 decades, over 2 decades likely now. So it's been around for a little while now, fully digitalized. But now they're going to do it in a different way. That's where crypto comes in with blockchain, because that's how you privatize the digitized dollar. And then you force us to wear the old band, ring, chip, whatever you want to call it. And that's how you expose deeper. So you got to be a part of it. You got to be a part of it before it happens. Otherwise, you get left behind. So